Crispy tortillas, tangy salsa, queso, and meat piled sky high. Hey, what's up, world? I hope you're hungry.
Today we're on the hunt for one thing and one thing only. A hot, tasty plate of Chilaquiles Verdes. Let's get it. So Sunset Park is famous for great Mexican food because it has one of the highest concentrations of Mexicanos in Brooklyn. You've got places like Tacos El Bronco, Tacos Matamoros, Los Tacos Poblanos, all serving some of the best Mexican food in NYC. You can find great renditions of many classic Mexican dishes. Tacos, tostadas, tortas, enchiladas, whatever you want. But in all the research I've done about the neighborhood, not too much is said about the chilaquiles. And it's not like these places aren't serving them. They're on the menu everywhere you go. And it makes me curious. So I gotta investigate. So I wanna know, where can you find the best chilaquiles verdes? Who's got them? Where they at? So that's what we're doing today. So what are chilaquiles anyway? Chilaquiles are a traditional Mexican dish, usually eaten for breakfast, consisting of a couple primary ingredients.
Tortillas, torn or cut into triangles and fried, salsa verde or salsa roja, some kind of meat usually, a bit of cheese, some onion, and garnished with either crema, cilantro, avocado, or some combination of these.
It all begins and ends with the tortillas. They have to be fried, and you want them fried to the right consistency. Too hard, and they'll break your teeth. Too soft, and they're all mushy and not very appetizing.
I do like my tortillas a little bit crispier than Venitas.
Yeah, everybody's got kind of like their preference about how well done they want their chilaquiles. And that's kind of like what makes it fun to eat and explore. All right, so the salsa. You want it to be tasty, you want it to be tangy, and you want it to have that heat because that gives it that addictive quality. The meat here isn't the star of the show. The star of the show is that like dance between the tortillas and the salsa and the cheese.
But it still has to be good.
And it's gotta be good, yeah, of
Still
course.
gotta be good.
We're hungry, we're here. First up, we got Tacos El Bronco. These guys are famous for their taco truck, which posts up over on 5th Avenue. Widely regarded as one of the best places to get tacos anywhere in NYC. But their brick and mortar location slaps too. And while you can get those delicious tacos here, today, we're not here for tacos. We're the first ones here, and right away when you sit down, they come to your table with a basket of chips and some salsa. I'm so excited for this meal. Chilaquiles are one of my favorite dishes anywhere. This is one of the top-notch places in all of NYC, so this is gonna be really good. These days, chilaquiles can be found on menus at all kinds of restaurants. But one thing that people don't know is that the dish is ancient, older than the idea of Mexico itself, long before European colonization. Even the name chilaquiles is derived from an Aztec Nahuatl word meaning chilies and greens. So the plate of chilaquiles just arrived. They look absolutely fantastic. The salsa is looking vibrant. The meat looks very well cooked and juicy. You got the beans on the side. All in all, looks like a really great plate of chilaquiles. All right, so let's dig in here. I mean, that just looks beautiful, man. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about when we're talking about like the salsa being tasty and tangy. It's covering each one of the tortilla chips. They do make tortillas here a bit on the softer side, but as far as the flavor goes, you really can't beat it. It's so good. This churrasco, juicy, very, very tasty. It's the meat itself that's making it here, which is interesting because we said the meat can't really be the star of the show for this type of dish. But here, I mean, it really is gonna steal the show here. Another thing that's interesting to know is that the onions are like cooked in with the tortillas. They're not like raw, they're like really cooked in there. And that really adds to like the flavor as well. Almost forgot to use some of the salsa that they had on the table here. I can't get enough of this churrasco, man. It's so flavorful. There's like a peppery taste. It's salty, it's juicy. I mean, this is really good stuff. I mean, I know this is only the first spot, but all in all, I think we're off to a great start here. That place is well deserving of its reputation. It's gonna be hard to find a better plate of chilaquiles than right there. All right, so up next, we got Ricos Tacos. I like coming to this joint because they're one of the few places around that have tacos árabes. As you know, that's not why we're here. Today, we're gonna see how their chilaquiles stack up against the others. So growing up, chilaquiles were a great way to use leftover tortillas, something like the party the night before. You would cook them up in the salsa and the queso for your guests, and you had a beautiful meal for them.
Beautiful.
It was a great way to provide a meal that was filling, tasty, and cheap. So here we ordered the Chilaquiles Verdes with cecina. It's a different type of beef that is thinner, a little more well done, and a lot saltier. Very, very tasty as well. And type of beef that's kind of like hard to mess up. You know, you just cook it up on the grill there and it's, you know, beautiful. So I'm pretty stoked to see how these ones turn out. Nice caramelized bit of onion right there. Right away, heat. This place definitely kicks it up a notch with the heat. Holy shit, that is nice.
Here.
That's what I mean about it being addictive. When it has that spiciness, it just makes you want to just keep eating it. Keep taking bite after bite after bite. This is a great, great, great plate of Chilaquiles Verdes. One thing I like about this plate of chilaquiles is that they have both the onions that are cooked in with it, as well as the raw onions that they have on top. So you get kind of like the best of both worlds. You gotta get a bite.
The salsa is very good. The tortillas still have a little bit of a crunch to them, so it's really nice too. Yeah, you get the heat, but you get so much flavor. It's really good.
I didn't think by this stage in the game I would actually be able to finish another plate of chilaquiles. Yet here we are. Another one down. And so finally we have Antojitos Mexicanos restaurant. It's the second location for another spot just a couple blocks down. We've gotten their stuff before. It's always really good, but we've never had their chilaquiles. So today we're gonna see how those stack up. We're here on 59th Street, the very edge of Sunset Park, and it's bordered with Bay Ridge. We're about to try Antojitos Mexicanos restaurant. All right, let's get a first look at that. All the essential ingredients are there. They're using a red onion instead of the white onion we saw at the other places. It's raw, and it's also mixed in, like there's onion in here, so they also do cook some onion in with the tortillas as well. Not loving the way the meat is cut here, the carne asada. And they've kind of like piled on the meat right on top of it. But see how these ones are. I'm so full, man. Definitely not as spicy as the last place. Nowhere near as spicy. The salsa, I'm picking up on like a bit of sweetness, which is kind of interesting. I'm curious about where that's coming from, which is nice, but I kind of wish that was balanced with the spice a lot more. The meat's a little on the tougher side. You really gotta work it. You gotta work it, you gotta work it, you gotta work it. You can see not quite as much body as some of the other places on the tortilla chips. Me personally, I like to see the tortillas maintain their structural integrity a bit more.
The consistency of the salsa is good. It's like on the chunkier side. Unfortunately, we've had quite a few killer dishes today, and for me, this just isn't cutting it.
Yeah, this one's not measuring up as well as the other ones. This isn't the best dish of chilaquiles that we had today, but it's important to note that a lot of these places, they're famous for other dishes, tacos, maybe their enchiladas, their tortas or something. So I wouldn't knock the restaurants based on this one dish alone. So this episode, we just wanted to see how these different places created this one dish, but that's not to say that these places aren't worth visiting otherwise. All right, so we tried 3 different places today. We had Tacos El Bronco, went to Ricos Tacos, and we went to Antojitos Mexicanos restaurant.
A lot of chilaquiles. Yeah. It's a lot of carbs. I don't recommend this for anyone to have this many in one.
This is
so
way
much.
more chilaquiles than anybody needs in one day.
It is.
Holy shit. Some of the dishes were better than others. In my opinion, my favorite was Ricos Tacos. I really loved the spiciness of the salsa. I loved the taste of the cecina. I love that they used both raw onion and cooked onion. I thought that was a nice touch. For me, that was my favorite plate of Chilaquiles Verdes today. What about you, babe?
My favorite was tacos al Bronco. For me, the consistency of the salsa with the tortilla and the steak, the churrasco, were just out of this world and pretty tough to beat.
I mean, it's hard to beat Tacos al Bronco, man. You know, they've earned their reputation. Awesome, awesome place. So, all in all, I think it was a pretty successful Chilaquiles crawl.